The broom hit the floor with a sharp crack. Frank Delgado didn't even flinch. He just stood there, head down, while 6 students laughed in his face, and the principal stormed toward him like he was about to lose his job on the spot. Nobody in that hallway knew the truth about this man. Not yet. Frank had worked at Hardgrove High for 9 years. Nobody asked his name. Nobody asked his story. To them, he was just the guy with the mop bucket, the guy you could mock without consequences. That morning, a boy named Tyler had knocked a stack of textbooks out of Frank's hands, on purpose. The hallway erupted in laughter. Someone yelled, "Watch where you're going, old man." Frank bent down, picked up every book without a word, and kept walking. That's when Principal Daniel Reyes turned the corner and saw the whole thing. He didn't see a janitor being clumsy. He saw a grown man being humiliated in front of children, and nobody stopping it. What is going on here? Reyes's voice cracked through the hallway like thunder. The laughter died instantly. Tyler stammered some excuse. The other kids suddenly found their shoes very interesting. Reyes looked at Frank, really looked at him, and something tugged at the back of his memory, like he'd seen this man somewhere before. He just couldn't place where. That feeling stayed with him all day. If you believe a moment of kindness can still change someone's life, even a small one, even a quiet one, hit that like button right now and subscribe, because what Principal Reyes discovers about Frank Delgado is going to break your heart in the best way possible. That afternoon, Reyes called Frank into his office. Not to scold him, to apologize. "I should have stepped in sooner," Reyes said. "That wasn't right, what those boys did." Frank just shrugged. "Kids don't see custodians. We're furniture to them. I stopped letting it bother me a long time ago." But something in the way he said it, "a long time ago," made Reyes pause. "Have we met before?" Reyes asked. "Before this school, I mean." Frank's eyes flickered, just for a second. "I don't think so." He was lying. Reyes could feel it. That night, Reyes couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about Frank's hands. Rough, scarred, steady even when humiliated. Hands that had clearly done harder work than pushing a mop. He pulled an old photo box from his closet. Pictures from college. Pictures from the Army recruitment office where he'd worked one summer, processing paperwork for soldiers shipping out. And there it was. A photo from 22 years ago. A young sergeant, helmet under one arm, signing discharge papers after multiple combat tours. The same sharp jaw. The same steady eyes. Sergeant Francisco Delgado. The man who, according to the file Reyes barely remembered processing, had pulled 3 wounded soldiers out of a burning vehicle under enemy fire, and never told a single person about the medal that came after. Reyes sat there in stunned silence, the photo trembling slightly in his hand. This wasn't just a janitor. This was a man who had run into danger while everyone else ran away. And now he stood quietly while teenagers ran circles around him, never saying a word in his own defense. Why would a man like that hide who he was? The next morning, Reyes didn't say anything. He just watched Frank work, sweeping the gym before basketball practice, fixing a flickering light in the science wing, helping a freshman who dropped her lunch tray without anyone asking him to. Quiet, steady, unseen. But this time, Reyes saw everything. That afternoon, the same boy, Tyler, was caught shoving another student into a locker. Reyes brought both boys to his office and asked Frank to come too. The boys groaned, expecting another lecture. Instead, Reyes said something nobody expected. "Do you know who this man is?" Silence. This man carried 3 soldiers out of a burning truck while bullets were flying past his head. He could have run. He chose not to. And he spent the last 9 years mopping up after kids who wouldn't even learn his name. Tyler's face went pale. Frank stared at the floor, embarrassed by the attention, the way humble men always are. "I didn't want it brought up," Frank said quietly. "That's not who I am anymore. I just wanted to do honest work and go home in peace." Reyes nodded slowly. "I understand that. But these boys need to know that the people they walk past every day might be carrying more courage than anyone they've ever met." Tyler, voice shaking, looked at Frank. "I'm sorry. I didn't know." "You weren't supposed to know," Frank said gently. "That's not why I do it." Word spread through the school within days. Not because Frank told anyone, but because Reyes made sure the truth was finally seen. Students who once laughed now nodded respectfully in the hallway. Some even stopped to help him carry supplies. At the spring assembly, Reyes invited Frank on stage, not for a medal, not for applause, but simply to say thank you. in front of every student who had ever looked past him. Frank stood there, uncomfortable under the lights, until the entire gymnasium rose to their feet. For the first time in 9 years, somebody saw him. Not the uniform, not the mop, not the job title nobody respected. They saw the man underneath, the one who had always been brave, even when nobody was watching. Sometimes the quietest people in the room have carried the heaviest things. If this story moved you even a little, subscribe for more, because the world needs more stories about people who choose kindness, even when no one is paying attention.